Hello everyone and welcome you all for the module 8 of our WSET Level 2 preparation journey, and in this module we'll be discussing about Riesling. So Riesling is a grape variety that discussed heavily in our WSET Level 2 official specification. Therefore, there's so much information that we need to know about Riesling. So everything that's specified in Level 2 specification we'll be discussing in this module as well. So Riesling is a grape variety that prefers cool to moderate climate conditions, as well as its natural and high acidity, as well as the susceptibility to noble rot or the varieties. It can produce wines, outstanding wines in whole range of sweetness levels as well. Even in today, there's so many regions that produces very high quality Rieslings across the world as well. So my name is Nilanta and I'm a WSET Level 3 certified sommelier, and I'm creating these contents to help you guys prepare for your courses without feeling overwhelming. So if you find these videos helpful, please do subscribe to the channel so that someone else can discover the channel and get help for their journey to succeed in their courses as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So as we discussed, Riesling is a cold, hardy grape variety that prefers cool to moderate climate conditions, and it can produce wines with all levels of sweetness levels due to its natural high acidity and susceptibility to noble rot or the botrytis. So Riesling is special because it has this ability to retain high levels of acidity even though when the grapes are still reaches its full ripeness levels. We know most of the other grape varieties tend to decrease the acidity levels as the sugar levels increase in the grape variety, but in Riesling it naturally has that ability to retain the high levels of acidity while it's increasing the sugar levels as the grapes are ripening. So this is a very positive characteristic of this grape variety. So that is one of the reasons why Riesling can produce wines with whole range of sweetness levels from dry to sweet, and then from light bodied to fuller bodied as well. So let's start with the characteristics of Riesling grape variety. It is an aromatic grape variety with pronounced fruity and floral aromas with high acidity. So Riesling is one of the aromatic grape varieties, and oftentimes the grapes that have very pronounced aromas, flavors are often referred as aromatic grape varieties. So Riesling is one of the aromatic grape varieties as well. So depending on the time of harvest, how much sugars the grapes has, the style of the wines can be varied. So green fruits to citrus fruits to stone fruits to tropical fruits and dried fruits. This is how the flavors are found in final wines of the Riesling, depending on the level of sweetness the wines has. Basically, green fruits are the apples, pears, etc., and citrus fruit we have lime, lemon, etc., and then stone fruits, which are tend to be peach, apricots, etc. So the wines that are harvested starting point of the ripeness, these wines tend to be more green fruits flavors, citrus fruits flavors, as well as these wines tend to be lighter bodied style. As well, if the grapes are harvested at the later stage of the ripeness process, these wines tend to be flavors of like stone fruits like apricot, peach, etc., because the sugar levels of these grapes are quite higher, they are more riper, and even the tropical fruit flavors as well. And the dried fruits flavors are coming from the grapes, from the wines that are made from the concentrated grape varieties. Now we know those the grapes affected by noble rot, or the wines that are made from frozen grapes, etc. So we'll be discussing them in upcoming slides. So styles are vary from dry to sweet and light to full in body. So again, depending on the time of harvest, the amount of residual sugar found in the grapes, the style of the wine, whether it's a light or full bodied style or a dry or sweet, can be vary. And also it has ability to build up flavors while retaining high levels of acidity and sweet, best for late harvesting in some regions with such climate conditions. So like we discussed earlier, it has this ability of retaining high levels of acidity while gaining more sugar levels in the grape variety, and especially this is the case that are suitable most for the warmer, sunnier, drier regions where they have kind of like warmer temperature conditions, so that the Riesling grape variety still can reach its full potential while retaining these high levels of acidity, resulting in wines with fuller bodied styles with more stone fruits to tropical fruits driven flavor profile as well. Winemaking and maturation options for Riesling grape variety. So Riesling produces dry, off-dry, medium, and sweet wines, meaning that it has the ability to produce wines in whole range of sweetness levels. Not every grape variety has this ability of producing from dry to sweet wines. Only few grape varieties has this ability, and Riesling is one of them as well. And off-dry and medium styles are either made by removing the yeast, which results in wines with low alcohol and some residual sugar, or by adding of sterile grape juice. So Sommelier is a kind of a juice that has very high levels of residual sugar in it, so they can directly add this into the dry wine and create this off dry or sweet styles of wine. Or the other way is to remove the yeast while the fermentation goes on, so that fermentation stops, resulting in a wine with high levels of residual sugar than the other dry wines. And also it results in low alcohol levels as well, because alcohol fermentation is not completed, it's not finished. And mostly these wines tend to have like 9 to 11% alcohol by volume, depending on the winemaker's styles as well. So the sweetest wines are made from extra ripe grapes. So the sweetest style of the Rieslings are made from the extra ripe grapes. It can either be affected by the Nobel rot or the Botrytis grape varieties, or the grapes that are left on the vines throughout the winter during this freezing time, so that the grapes are super concentrated flavors and sugars. These wines are made from these grapes, and the fermentations naturally stops because of these higher levels of residual sugar in these juices, that the fermentation can no longer take place. So the yeast will die automatically and the fermentation stops naturally. So that's how these sweeter styles of Riesling wines are also made. Winemakers typically use stainless steel vessels to preserve floral aromas. So this is one of the key key things that we can remember about the aromatic grape varieties. So the winemakers often use stainless steel vessels both for fermentation and storing conditions, because if they use barrels, what happens, the flavors from the barrels allow a small oxygenation to take place inside the barrel, so that it can interact with the fresh flavors of grape variety and result in different flavors imparted to the wine. So when by doing this fermentation and storing process in stainless steel vessels, they protect the primary flavors of the grape varieties. So this is mostly the case of aromatic grape varieties. So high natural acidity can preserve these floral aromas and fresh fruit flavors, making them ideal to age for years or even decades. So because of the high levels of acidity as well as the floral and fruity aromas of this grape variety, making it more suitable to benefit from further age in the bottle. Even sometimes the Rieslings are out there more than 10 years, 15 years of age, and still they can deliver outstanding quality, outstanding flavors that are developed over the time. And especially in aged Riesling, petrol is one of the key signature character that found in this aged Riesling as well. So yeah, this is the winemaking and maturation options that are associated with the Riesling grape variety that we need to know for our WSET level 2 examination. So important regions for Riesling. So what are the important regions that are discussed about Riesling in WSET level 2? So Germany, of course, the home for Riesling grape variety. So Germany is a predominantly cool climate with some vineyards lying at 50 degrees of latitude on northern pole. So now we know the wine belt most preferred climate conditions for grape growing. Wine grape growing is located between 30 to 50 degrees of latitude, both the northern pole and southern pole. So now Germany is located almost at the edge of this northern pole at 50 degrees. So which means it has quite cooler climate condition. If it's in 30 degrees latitude, what happens? They tend to receive more warmer temperature conditions, but it's in 50, meaning the edge of the latitude, they have cooler climate conditions. So Riesling is the most important grape variety, and it is planted throughout the wine range. So most important grape variety of Germany is Riesling, and it's planted all across the wine regions that are based in Germany as well. So Moselle is one of the primary wine regions that are home to some of the famous, some of the highest quality Riesling wines coming from Germany. So northerly latitude than the other regions. So it's located in the northernmost part of the Germany, and the latitude levels are quite northern than the other regions in Germany as well. Wines are tend to be light to medium bodied with medium sweetness and balance the very high levels of acidity. So these wines are light to medium bodied with medium sweetness, which balance the high levels of acidity of the wine as well. So the best sites are planted on steepy slopes with south or southeast facing on the banks of the Moselle River. Something you should be remembering now that we discuss about Burgundy. So the northern pole, the vineyards that are located in these regions should face the south or southeast aspect to receive the maximum sunlight, maximum exposure to the heat as well. So this is one of the reasons why the best sites of Moselle are located with south or southeast aspects to receive the maximum sunlight in order to maximize the sugar ripeness of these grape varieties, which can result in high quality wines. So facing on the banks of the Moselle River. So when these vineyards are located on the banks of the river, they can even benefit from the reflected sunlight from the river water, as well as the influencing moderating conditions from the river as well. So there's more benefits because it's located next to the Moselle River as well. So these vineyards benefit from stony soils and reflected sunlight from the river. So reflected sunlight coming from the river, the beneficial for these vineyards, as well as stony soils. So stone, especially found in the soils, can regenerate the warmth that are absorbed during the daytime at night. So they can extend the growing condition, accelerate the sugar ripeness of the grape varieties as well because of the stones. Of course, if you leave a stone on sunny outside, what happens? It absorbs the heat and it's become hot, right? So these stones can even radiate this warmth at night when the surroundings are cold. The stones are still warm, therefore it can accelerate the sugar ripeness process. So it's a very good benefit for these vineyards as well. And then we have Rheingau. So the vineyards of the Rheingau regions are located on steep south-facing slopes on the north bank of the Rhine River. So again, it's Rheingau, easy to remember, it's the Rhine River. So the vineyards are located on the south aspect, on steep slopes as well. And these wines are typically drier in style than Moselle wines and have more body. So these wines are more drier than the Moselle wines and more body. Probably it's medium to fuller body style wines, and as well as dry than the wines found in the Moselle region. And Pfalz. Towards the French border, Pfalz region has a dry, sunny climate with long growing season and protected by mountains to the west. So Pfalz region is located towards the French border, almost the most southern part of the Germany, and is protected from the mountains to the west. So the region is protected by those mountains, and also they have more drier, more sunny climate conditions because of the mountain protect the region from the rainy and also the wind conditions. And climatically similar to Alsace, and the wines are similar in style. So climatically it's quite similar to the Alsace region, and also the style of these wines tend to be like Alsatian wine as well. Labeling terms in Germany. So this could be one of the most complicated topics when studying for WSET Level 2 and also understanding Riesling of Germany. So it's because due to the most of Germany's wine producing regions has cooler climate, as we discussed. In general, most of the wine producing regions in Germany has cooler climate conditions. Therefore, the grape growers struggle to achieve the sugar ripeness of these grape varieties. Right. Therefore, much of Germany's labeling reflects the amount of sugar levels at the time of harvest. So, most of the labeling terms of Germany's wines is focusing on to communicate the residual sugars in their wines. So basically the wines are divided into two categories: the land wines as well as the Qualitats wine. So in land wine, this is the term for PGI wines, meaning protected geographical indications, means very less strict when it comes to grape growing as well as winemaking options, and they are quite free than the PDO wines. So Germany, and they are tend to be light bodied and dry to off dry styles. So these wines tend to be light bodied as well as dry to off dry styles wines. And then we have the Qualitats wine. So this is the PDO labeled wines and must come from one of 13 wine regions in Germany. So these wines must be coming from one of 13 wine regions in Germany. So this is the PDO term for Germany's wines. They call it as wine, the protected designation of origins. So must achieve higher levels of grape ripeness than land wine, and therefore those wines are more intense, flavorful, and fuller body style. So these wines must have more achieved more sugar levels at the time of harvest of these grape varieties. Therefore, they tend to be more complex, more intense, as well as more fuller body styles wines. And then we have the predicate wine. So to qualify for this category, a higher levels of sugar requirement is in a grape than needed for so if for to qualify to in order to qualify for predicate wines, they have to have even higher levels of residual sugars than qualitas wine. So the grape must come from a single region, and also the grapes must be coming from single region. There are 6 predicate categories classified in order of the sugar levels required at the time of harvest. So these 6 levels are the cabinet, Speislese, Auslese, Bierauslese, Trockenbierauslese, as well as the ice wine. So cabinet, Speislese, and Auslese wines are made from various stages of the ripeness. They can either be dry or sweet. Dry Auslese would have higher levels of alcohol than the Speislese, and the Speislese would have higher levels of alcohol than the cabinet due to the high levels of sugar. Like it says, so cabinet is the driest style of these predicates levels, and still they have high levels of residual sugar. So cabinet doesn't mean that it's a dry wine, it's actually a sweet wine. It still have high levels of residual sugar. So I remember one of the instance in my life, in my experience, I offered a wine to a guest, a cabinet wine, saying it's a dry. So I had no clue, honestly, at that time, but because during the service time we are quite busy, and guests always ask, is this Riesling sweet or is it dry? So this is actually a trapping question all the time, and I offered this cabinet to a guest saying it's dry, and it's actually not dry. It still have high levels of sugar levels in the wine, and I got ashamed from the guests, and I had to offer a dry Riesling to the guests as an alternative, and got ashamed in front of the guests as well. So this is quite common actually. So that's why it's important to have this clarification in terms of different levels of sugar, as well as the label in terms of these wines, guys. So cabinet means it's lesser sweet than Speislese, but Speislese means quite more sweeter than, because it all happens at the time of harvesting. So the grapes that are harvested to produce these cabinet styles was just at the time of ripening process, slightly accumulating more sugar, but still they are quite sweeter. And also alcohol levels get increased as the sweet levels increase in the grape variety, because the more sugar produce more alcohol. So Speislese is more sugar than cabinet, therefore they have high levels of alcohol. Same with the Auslese. So all these cabinet, Speislese, Auslese, these wines can be made either dry and sweet levels as well. And then we have the Bierauslese, Trockenbierauslese, and ice wines must be made from the grapes that are concentrated on the wine. So these 3 styles, Bierauslese, Trockenbierauslese, and ice wines must be made from the grapes that are concentrated on the wine. Either it can be frozen grapes, or even it can be made from the botrytis affected grapes, etc. So in any method, it must be concentrated. It must have very high levels of residual sugar in these wines as well. So these wines are naturally low in alcohol, sweet, intense flavors, and high acidity help them to age for decades in the bottle. So these wines have very high levels of residual sugar. They're extremely sweet than the other wines, and they also have intense fruit flavors, the complex fruit flavors of stone fruits, can be honey, even it can be dried apricots, marmalade. There's so many the flavors that are associated with these sweet wines, and also they are very low in alcohol levels, and the high acidity helps them to age for several decades in the bottle, even further evolve into beautiful flavors over the time as well. So that is predicates wines levels. What are the other key labeling terms when it comes to Riesling of Germany? The many German wines have some sweetness depending on the predicate level. Some producers can use other terms that indicates the level of sweetness of their wines. Apart from these predicate levels, the producers uses different terms to indicate the sweetness levels of their wines as well. Like trocken, meaning in German language is dry, and also halbtrocken, meaning a wine with some sweetness, meaning it's kind of like off dry wines. So they use this term halbtrocken. So if you see these terms on a wine label of German Riesling, meaning that they're trying to indicate the level of sweetness of their wines. Trocken is dry, meaning does not have any residual sugar in them, so wine is quite drier. But if it's halbtrocken, meaning they have some sort of sweetness in their wines. So, and then we're moving into ice wine. So these wines are made from the grapes that are frozen on the wine. They have vibrant, fresh, strong fruits, tropical fruit flavors. They are not affected by botrytis. So these wines are made from the grapes that are left on the wine throughout the winter, let them to be frozen, and also concentrated these flavors, sugars throughout the winter. And as they press these wines, the water is already frozen and it's removed from this very small amount of liquid that is super concentrated with the sugar and the flavors. These grapes are not affected by Nobel rot, so they are naturally concentrated by freezing these grapes throughout the winter. As the ripening process continues throughout the winter, so these flavors are super concentrated naturally and not made in every year. So the other way, they are not made in every year, only in specific years where they have specific climate conditions that's suitable for this freezing the grapes on the wine. So the winemakers, they decide depending on the climate condition of specific years. So the labor intensive to produce, this is quite labor intensive to produce these wines, because they have to go through the vineyards one by one, checking these grapes conditions and etc. And very small is also the yield is quite smaller compared to the yields that are used in other wines production. So the outstanding quality and command high price because of these quality, this labor intensivity, as well as the very small yields. This all factors comes down to the price of these wines, and they are exceptionally expensive than the other wines. So I'm pretty sure now we are clear about these ice wines. And now we are into France. So the Alsace AOC region is lies to the east of the Vosges Mountains, which protects the vineyards from the region from the rain-bearing westerly winds. So Alsace is the most known region that produces outstanding quality Riesling wines, and it's located towards the east of Vosges Mountains as well, at the border of the Germany. So Vosges Mountains protect this region of Alsace from the westerly rain-bearing winds, etc. So therefore, one of the driest and sunniest regions in France. Because of this Vosges Mountains influence, this region, the Alsace, is one of the driest and warmest and sunniest region in France. The best vineyards are planted in the mountains foothill with south or southeast aspects to benefit from the morning sun. So as discussed, the northern four vineyards are most benefited when it's located with the south or southeast aspect. Therefore, the vineyards of Alsace also located their best vineyards in the foothills of Vosges Mountains with south or southeast aspects to benefit from the more sunshine. So long period of uninterrupted sunshine extends the growing season, allowing grapes to ripen slowly and gradually. So the long hours of sunshine uninterrupted, so they allow the growing season to extend as well as to ripe slowly and gradually. So a typical Alsace Riesling is a dry with pronounced aroma and flavor intensity with flavors of ripe citrus and stone fruits, vibrant blossom aromas. So these are the characteristics of typical Alsatian Riesling. So they are dry with pronounced flavors of ripe citrus fruits, and then also have stone fruits as well as blossom aromas. They are medium bodied with high acidity as well. Always the acidity levels remains high in almost every Riesling wine that are found, and the Alsatian Riesling are quite medium body, so they have more structure, more body into their wines, and riper fruit flavors as well. So the best wines come from individual vineyards called Grand Cru. So in Alsace, like in Burgundy, in Alsace also they have this classification system. They have Alsace AOC and Alsace Grand Cru AOC. So the best wines coming from this Alsace Grand Cru stated vineyards, and they offer the highest quality of this grape variety. Sweeter wines are also made from late harvested grape, and they are labeled as Vendange Tardives. So the sweeter wines from Alsace, they are made from these late harvested grape varieties, and they often labeled as Vendange Tardives. So this is pretty much all we need to know about Riesling that is coming from France. And then we have Australia. Australia again is another country that known to produce very high quality Riesling based wines. And since 19th century, Australia has been cultivating Riesling. So Riesling has been existed in Australia since 19th century. So Eden Valley and Clara Valley known to produce premium Riesling due to their higher altitudes. These two regions have moderate climates. So now we know Australia is a country with very warm, very hotter climate conditions throughout their wine regions, and this Eden Valley and Clara Valley is known to produce high quality premium style Riesling because of their altitudes. Altitude means the elevation, as well as the altitude rises, the temperature drops. So because of the high elevation of this Eden Valley and Clara Valley, the temperatures are quite lower, quite cool to moderate conditions, so that they're able to produce premium styles of Riesling. And in Barossa Valley, they produce refreshing Rieslings in dry style with pronounced flavors of lime, peach, blossoms, and gasoline. So, in comparatively, the Barossa Valley is quite warmer, quite sunnier, but they also produce refreshing styles of Rieslings, which are characterized by flavors of lime, peach, blossom, as well as gasoline. So, the gasoline is one of the key signature characteristics like petrol. They literally smells like petrol. And if you ever get this petrol aroma in your white wine, even during your blind tasting, you have a strong reference that it's gonna be a Riesling wine. So yeah, that is pretty much all about the Australia. The things that we need to focus about Australian Riesling for the examination is Eden Valley and Clara Valley. You might give one few Riesling producing regions and ask the question, which are the following regions found in Australia known to produce premium styles of Riesling? And you've been given this Eden Valley, Clara Valley, and two more other regions as well. So then you know Eden Valley or Clara Valley are known to produce these premium styles Rieslings. So, and then Riesling today. So although Riesling reaches its full potential in regions with cool, dry, and sunny enough to allow sugar and flavors to develop slowly, there are a number of regions beyond the ones mentioned in this chapter have gained success with. So there are many other regions obviously than what we discussed in this module, in this specification for WSET Level 2 as well. There's many Riesling coming from many other regions across the world. Especially in our wine list, we have a lot of Riesling coming from regions that we did not even discuss in this module. Yet they have gained high reputation for their outstanding quality. But it's not the case that is considerably equal to the volumes of production that are known for these regions, right? So this is one of the reasons as well why they are not discussing each and individual region. But when it comes to level 3, we dive deep into these more regions that are known to produce Riesling as well. Many wine enthusiasts hold Riesling in very high regard due to its versatility, flavor intensity, as ability to age. So most of the wine enthusiasts from across the world, they love this Riesling because of its versatility. If they want to have something dry style, they have option to go for bone dry Riesling styles, or if they prefer something quite off dry, something with a little bit of residual sugar, they have off dry, they have medium styles of Riesling. So Riesling is a grape variety that has the ability to offer all range of the sweetness levels as well. Therefore, the wine lovers, wine enthusiasts from around the world, they have high regard to this grape variety and they love it. So yeah, this is pretty much all that we need to focus, that we need to keep in our mind when preparing for WSET Level 2 examination as well. And Riesling is a grape variety that most probably could get asked in our examination as well. Maybe not, if not one question, there are going to be a couple of questions as well based on this grape variety. So especially I'm going to be doing examples of questions that we can expect in WSET Level 2 examination upcoming contents. once I complete with all these modules of explaining the entire WSET level 2 specification. And yeah, I hope you found this video quite helpful, quite useful for your journey to understand more clearly about Riesling. And if so, please do subscribe to my channel so that someone else can discover this channel and get help for their journey to succeed their WSET level 2 journey as well. So this is pretty much all about Riesling, and I'm going to see you in the next grape variety soon. Please take care everyone, and see you soon.